I don't.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on? I don't even know what to tell y'all.
No, it was not.
It's not live.
I'm having to get out of that the past 2 days, not having to think over there.
Yeah.
I got to get back into the thinking brain.
So is it live now?
It's live now. I want to apologize to everyone out there in the world.
Okay. Okay, there we go. So we got audio. We're good. All right, look at us go.
I'm sorry. That was me.
Idiot. You just got a belly full of barbecue and you're tired. It's all right. Chris says repaving the road, repaving where the wreck happened Tuesday night. You talking about on 2059? Is that the case? Is that what's going on? I'm not sure. Oh, we got another text. Another standstill on the way to Tuscaloosa from Bessemer, repairing the big wreck from the other day. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Looks like James Spann put that out on Facebook. So there you go. That's your answer. And this one says, so I guess Brett lost $200,000 during the Biden administration with 9% inflation and $5 gas. I guess that's a good thing. And that's what's crazy. Brett, I think Brett's still on the line. That's what's crazy is if you compare the price of gas now, which is going to be temporary, and you compare it to what we were dealing with during a big chunk of the Biden administration where nobody was really that concerned about it. Why is it a big deal now, Brett?
Well, and I will tell you, all right, so under the Biden administration in the year 2021, when I came back out here and started over the road and left my union job, which I should have never done, but I come out here because the money was better, okay? So the first year I made $284,000, and I brought home $150 out of that after expenses and fuel, okay? Now, the next year when the fuel went really high, and I made $354,000. But guess what? The trucking company that I was involved with said, oh, wait a minute, that's too much money. So what they started doing was taking the fuel surcharge that we got, and we started subtracting it from the load. Like, say the load used to pay $3,000 and the fuel surcharge was $1,000. Now they took the $1,000 off the load, okay? Then they gave me 70% of the new lower number and then gave me the fuel surcharge back. So I really got $300 out of a $1,000 fuel surcharge. That didn't get to court, okay? So then I go to another company, and I get paid half as much as I got paid back then to start with, and then I got to work, and the fuel surcharge over here is not as much as it was back then. But this is all a game that I'm involved in. It's a war out here every day, but it does. It costs me $800 a week. Based on inflation, I actually should be making $300,000, and my truck was making $600,000 a year to the company. So I was supposed to get 70% of the $600. So I was supposed to get $420 minus expenses. I should have brought home $300,000. But see, we are the most hated employees in this nation, and I don't get it. We are very vital to the national security of this country, but the trucking companies hate their drivers, and they have stolen over the years hundreds of trillions of dollars, and that's why we're having a problem. But right now I'm losing $800 a week, so if it continues for the rest of the year, it's $40,000. Okay, I made 120 last year, so I go from 120 to 80. Okay.
So just from that last commercial break, we're down $10,000 from where we started. That's good, right?
What are you saying?
I'm saying just before the commercial break, you said you were going to lose $50,000. Now you're only losing $40,000.
Well, I said $800 a week, right? So $800 a week on 50 weeks is $40,000. It doesn't matter, Andrew. Why don't you take a pay cut? Why don't you take 2/3 of your money and lose it because of this war? Will you take that out of your pocket? Would that help you?
Well, I was waiting for you to get around to where all of this was Trump's fault. Is that what you're getting at? I mean, why don't you go back? Why don't you go back to your union job if the trucking industry is so bad?
I can't go back. Once you leave, you can't go back.
Okay, well, why don't you pick up on something else? I mean, it sounds like you're beating yourself up by staying in an industry that's screwing you over.
Andrew, I've done this for 35 years of my life. I've dedicated my life to providing for the American people, giving y'all your stuff. I make good money. You know what? Here's the crazy part. I make the exact same take-home money that I made 30 years ago. But the problem was, 2 years ago, I was making twice as much. You see where the stealing's coming in? I left that union job because I could go and make $200,000 a year, take-home pay. My union job was paying me 80,000 plus benefits. Okay, I'll take that risk because at that point they said the union's pension plan wasn't going to be solvent. So I had to make an adjustment at 55 years of age. Okay, I knew in 5 years I could build a company with that company until they started stealing from me. And that's the whole thing. This industry is the most. It is a. And you guys, I mean, I hate to say it, but you guys are collateral damage. Every time there's a wreck, this is what's going. We're in a war over here in the business, and like that might be a wreck from the other night where somebody's trying to run more miles to make up the difference than the money he's losing right now. That's what's going on out here.
Or it could have been some guy from
if
India.
everybody wants to take a third pay cut because of the war, I'm down with it. I'm taking it.
All right,
My
Brett.
family's taking it, but y'all will take a third too and give it to the government, and I'm good with that.
Okay, Brett. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, man. All right, buddy.
Yeah, I can't follow him most of the time when he calls. Like I just don't understand what he's saying, and I'm not that well versed in the trucking industry. I've learned a lot about it. It's kind of like what I took from that is, well, one, the basis of it is it's complaining about something, which is what every Brett phone call is, and blaming other people for whatever the problem may be. But if in Brett's mind, if this is the case, and you are in an industry that hates you so bad as a truck driver and you're constantly getting screwed over, why are you still in that industry? And how's it Trump's fault? Like, if the trucking industry is that bad, and I'm not hearing that from other truckers, by the way, but if the trucking industry is so bad, why not try to do something else? I mean, maybe that's a little too simple. Dale, I see you on the line. I'll get you when we get back. 205-545-9950 is the line. Talk 99.5. 205-545-9950. Got a lot of text on the text lines. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, Doug's in Tuscaloosa. Doug, what's up?
Well, I just was you're talking about your truckers, and I'm not a trucker, but I got to thinking about it. Have you thought about if somebody decided that you needed to find you another job other than talk radio? How would you do it as a backhoe operator or an electrician or whatever? These truckers, that's all they've ever known is trucking.
Yeah, for some people,
it'd be hard. It'd be hard to go do something else with no experience.
Well, that's absolutely true, especially for people that are older. But I was just speaking to Brett in particular, who told me that he was working another job that he wished he never quit before getting into the trucking industry. So obviously he's got some previous experience with something. I was just making a suggestion for him. But, yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of people out there that there's whatever industry they're in, that's all they know. And once you get to a certain age, you're not really, not to say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but it's incredibly difficult to, pick up another trade and start all over at a certain age.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that's going to hurt the truckers is Walmart is in the process right now with Elon Musk system to come up with driverless trucks to deliver from state to state, and then they would have a local gathering spot where they would then put drivers out to deliver the goods to the stores. But the long haul, they would have driverless trucks. So that's going to hurt the truck drivers tremendously.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That thing's a success.
It sounds dangerous to me. I don't like the idea of that. But
of course, I'd rather trust a computer driving the truck, and I had these illegal aliens that can't even speak English driving the truck.
That's very true. And that's another thing is the administration and Sean Duffy, Transportation Secretary, moves into this, trying to get those people in particular off the road. I think it will probably increase competition for American workers, and maybe that pay will increase because people are going to demand more money, and they're not going to be able to pay illegals pennies on the dollar. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, buddy, I enjoy your show. I don't always agree with you, but I really enjoy. You do a good spot.
Well, Doug, we appreciate you, buddy, and thanks for calling, man.
Yeah. All right, bye,
Doug. Well, I like the old. I don't always agree with you, but I still listen to you. That's kind of
that's the American way, or at least it used to be. It's
my favorite kind of right there. That's my people. All right, looking through the text line real quick. I've got a bunch of these. P. Nasty says, Matt Murphy said that John Bird was the reason for the no food rule in the studio. Is that true?
Matt Murphy is a lying scumbag. No, that's not it at all.
Richard the Cop says, Brett can eat ish. David says, I want to know who Brett's driving for. Trucker Jack says, Brett is lying. I drove for 28 years as a long-distance driver and an owner-operator. The figures he is telling you is impossible. Give him my phone number, and I will rip him a new a-hole. Edwin says, it must be exhausting being that big of a D-bag. Brett should just go walk backwards into oncoming traffic.
Dang.
Tanya says it seems as Brett is angry at the trucking industry and the trucking companies, not at Trump. Patrick says the trucking industry is not Trump's fault. This has been over years and years of regulations and rules and laws and everything combined. He said Michael started driving in 69 or 70. I've been around this in my whole life, and I'm 53, and all this started back in the 80s. A lot of text. I'll go through them as we go along. Underdog Fantasy. UnderdogFantasy.com and the Underdog Fantasy app. Y'all see that little logo right there? Right there? Underdog. Underdog Fantasy. Y'all download the app, man. I got my own promo code for Underdog. It's free to download, free to sign up, free to use my promo code, which is Hey Now, all one word, HEYNOW. HEYNOW. And when you do that, you're going to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Can't beat that. And especially with the big tournament going on, that gets fired back up tomorrow. The Big Orange is playing. And I think Alabama plays tomorrow, too. Is that right?
Yeah, they're playing Michigan. They play at 6:30. And if they win, it's going to be Bama and Tennessee.
Well, if Tennessee beats Iowa State, which let's hope.
Let's hope for a SEC sweep in those two.
Oh, that would be wild. Tennessee, Alabama in a high-stakes game. That would be crazy, crazy, crazy. So anyway, download the app. You're making picks higher or lower on things such as rebounds, points, three-pointers, steals, whatever it is. On players, you get your picks right, you win money. It's really that easy. And you can play with as little as $1. However you want to do it, man. It's all right there for you. A lot of y'all have downloaded the app. If you have not done it yet, do it. Do it today. It's free to download. Download the app today and use promo code HeyNow to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code HeyNow. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 19 or older and present in Alabama. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit ncpgambling.org. Brian says, sounds like he has a job problem, not a Trump problem. There's a million texts about Brett. I'm not trying to make the show about Brett, but he knows that this is coming every time he calls in. Steve says, sounds to me like you should have saved the money when he was making bank and invested it properly, because the stock market has been gangbusters lately and he wouldn't be in this situation. That's the thing about certain industries where your pay fluctuates based on how your job goes. If you've got one of those jobs in the trucking industry, if you're an owner operator or you work in sales or you do DoorDash or rideshare or whatever it is, your pay is always going to fluctuate. And so when you make a lot of money and you've got, you're on a hot streak and you're making a lot of money, maybe for a couple months or 6 months or even a year, but you know that it may not always be like that. Instead of living a lifestyle that matches that current amount of money that you're making, you should, and I'm not saying Brett does or doesn't do this. I don't know Brett's finances. But if you are in that situation, it's smart to live the lifestyle that you were living before you started making that money and take that extra and put it back for when times get rough. And that is your Dave Ramsey advice. The day. Trish would be proud of me. Mike says, wouldn't you hate to have to work with Brett? What a lost ball in high weeds. No wonder his union brothers don't want him back. Ron says, funny, I've made 1,000 more a week driving since the war started. This one says from Jay, just curious if you saw my barbecue text. Oh, he said, speaking of barbecue, I make the world's greatest barbecue sauce. As a matter of fact, the Chubb father says it's his favorite new sauce. How can I get it to you, Andrew and Bird?
Immediately.
That's how, immediately. Let's look at this.
We got to figure that out.
The Whiskered Pig barbecue sauce. I actually did see Will talking about that. Just mail it to the station if you would. Mail it to the station or whatever's convenient for you. Or if you see Will, you can drop it off with Will, and then next time Will's in studio for breaking bread, he can drop it off in my office, and we'll try it out. A little bit of that Whiskered Pig. Can people buy that in the store? Is that in stores? Should put it at the Piggly Wiggly, the whiskered pig at the Piggly Wiggly.
That's perfect marketing.
Tim says, typical union jerk. It's always someone else's fault. Oh, no. I don't think he's saying all union workers are jerks, but the jerks that happen to be in unions, they blame everybody. I'm assuming. Brandon says, I'm not normally one to just disagree with you, but I don't know this guy's story any more than you do. Imagine that you are 65, 70 years old and you're looking at retirement soon, and all you've done since high school is drive a truck. Do you really think it's as simple as finding something different? We addressed that with that last phone call. It was, I already made my statement on that. I don't have to repeat it. Trent says Brett needs to work for someone because he doesn't know the industry good enough to be an owner-operator. I'm the owner operator, and he's an idiot, and he needs to be a company driver because he don't know what he's doing. He said one more thing: if all he made last year was a little more than $200,000, he didn't make any money last year either. He's a dumbass. He's a dumbass. Joey says guys like that shouldn't make six figures. They all should be incarcerated after sterilization. God, you're being mean to Brett.
This is brutal.
This is pretty brutal, but I'm going to keep going with it. Kevin, I've worked for the same trucking company since 99. This is one of our busiest years I've experienced, and we are steady hiring right now to stay current. That guy either doesn't know how to get business, or he is picky on where he goes, or he works for a sorry carrier that no one is using. Brian says, with all the bombing going on in Iran, I guess we now know where the sand in Brett's... Oh, I'll replace that word. Where the sand in his butt came from. He's got sandy cheeks, he says, in so many words. Kevin says, the fuel price is killing us, and for what we do, we don't make the money we should. I made more money 25 years ago than I do now in a truck, but we need to finish what we started over there. Should have been done a long time ago, and when it's over, the fuel price will settle back down. Going to be better in the long run. Average 3 loads a day, takes a load and a half to pay a driver and the fuel bill, says Kevin. That's his situation. Mike says Brett doesn't know how to run his business. 37 years as an owner-operator. I've done pretty well for myself. Taylor, funny, I've never heard Brett complaining about all the American tax dollars going into the endless Ukraine war his president let start. For our safety and the safety of the world, the temporary additional expense at the pump is a small price for us to pay to remove the Iranian threat. You know, if anytime I go to the gas pump and I see the price and I'm like, wow, man, I wish I'm ready for it to come down. I think about Iran over Tehran right now. And I think to myself, you know what? For their sake, I'll just go ahead and not even complain about it.
Yep, that's the way to do it. And you know what I found out? If I will not let my tank get lower than a half tank,
yeah,
I feel so much better about filling up.
Yeah, it's true because it's cheaper.
That's right.
You fill up before you're on E, and it's a lot cheaper. It's like gas prices are back at $2. Philip says there are jobs to be had that require a CDL and not driving an 18-wheeler, heavy equipment operator, railroad engineer, etc. Walter says you have ADS, Alabama Derangement Syndrome. Is that going back to me talking about Alabama being in the Elite Eight?
Could be.
Jeff says the union people always bitch. Christopher says, just saying, hey, Brett. I guess he's like, somebody's got to be nice to him. Bubba Rumble on the line. Bubba, what's up, buddy?
I was away from the radio for a minute when I came in and heard you talk about somebody complaining about the trucking industry. I already knew who made the call. It was Brett, like usual.
Right, yeah. You got it. Ding, ding, ding.
He needs to change up his game a little bit, bring something different to the table. We already know he hates everything right now.
Well, when I take the call, I'm always like, all right, let's just hurry up and get to the point where this is Trump's fault, because it always is.
It's just another side effect of TDS, man.
Like, we don't have to hear all the nitty-gritty details. Just tell me, what are you mad about, and how does it tie back to Trump?
And why is it Trump's fault? So anyway, yeah, what I actually called talking about was earlier, we were talking about the different streaming platforms and trying to get some traction on some of the other platforms besides YouTube, which first thing I got to say, it really breaks my heart that YouTube is getting into legal trouble for the way they choose to run their platform. So, breaking my heart. And, you know, their kindergarten rules, they need to back off on that. You know, like they're ratioing like long-standing content creators right now for various reasons. And a lot of it, what it seems like to me, is they're just trying to turn more profit back to the other side of the equation, less for the creators, more for the CEOs and the shareholders, would be my opinion on what's going on, because they are just got a whole new thing they're doing to throttle and ratio creators on there. Some of them have been on there for years.
Yeah. No, it's been a struggle, man. I mean, it's been really, really difficult to get any sort of traction. And it's almost like, and Bird, you and I talked about this, it's almost like we need a team or a person or a couple people to help guide us on the things we need to be doing online to get that momentum. Because there are, you know, you remember when we were in Tampa and we talked to Gary Cantrell, which is videographer for Bubba and those guys, and he kind of gave us some of the tactics that he uses when putting his videos together, and, you know, even going all the way down to what he names the video and this, that, and the other. And there's a lot of intricate details, but it's hard for people like me and Bird that don't really know, or there's so much out there, it's hard to remember all of it.
Yeah, exactly. And research, you know, you can do research, but everybody's got an opinion, and, you know, you don't really know who really knows what they're talking about.
And Bubba, going back to your point, all of the strategies usually relate to getting around the system that has been built by companies like Meta or YouTube or Google, because they've made it difficult.
Yeah, there's a formula out there, and there are people that have actually become, like, you know, YouTube consultants and stuff for a living, having been successful content creators themselves. But a lot of it is, you know, it's thumbnails, headlines, you know, keywords, all that stuff, because the algorithm's picking and choosing what it wants to put out there. And you guys are behind the eight ball anyway, because you talk about conservative issues and say Trump a lot. So there's got to be some ratio working against you on that right off the bat, which brings me to the next level of this conversation. It's like, you know, I ain't called Bubba Rumble for no reason at all. And their rules of engagement are far more friendly for, like, what you and Jay Bizzle like to put out and the things you like to talk about. But one thing I could say right off the bat is if you have a Rumble Premium account, that automatically elevates you in editors' picks and getting your thumbnails into the different categories right off the bat. And then, you know, it never hurts to talk to old Rumble number 2. I know he's been a game changer for a few of the people that I like to watch, like Salty Cracker, like, was in negotiations with Rumble leadership for quite a while, and they helped him get where he's at. He's killing it on Rumble these days. And if I could recommend one other guy that had to go over there because he got banned from YouTube years ago, that would be Sleazy P. Martini. Do you happen to know who he is?
No, I do not.
Okay, so he was the manager of Guar, like, you know, as a character. He was on stage with them for 20 years.
Wow.
And he did a lot of their costume designs and all that stuff. Well, he does his live stream as Sleazy P. Martini. So right off the bat, he's got a little bit of a gimmick going. But I'm going to tell you, like, I would recommend that to anybody who's in the Hey Now Nation, so we like things a little bit different, because the dude has this like, he's in character, but he's, like, super informed on, like, history, geopolitical issues, military, all that. It just blows my mind that I'm sitting there watching the manager of Guar just, like, come out with this dank conservative commentary. So, like, you know, it's done him well. Like, he can't get back on YouTube just for, you know, not towing the line of their rules. So anyway, like, somehow, some way, I was like, maybe try to talk to Rumble management and look into maybe getting that Rumble Premium account going there.
Yeah, I got to get back with Lummy because he actually was friends with a guy that was running the editor's picks and stuff. I guess he was the head of content management or whatever. But I think he left and that there's a new guy. But yeah, I would. And didn't one of the members of Guar just pass away?
That's kind of almost like a Spinal Tap thing with that band because several members of that band have died over the years. And that's one of the beauties of how they do it in the kabuki costumes because they can just bring somebody else in either the same costume or a different costume and keep the vision the same, But even going to the original lead singer, Dave Brocky, crazy rock and roller, another guy that left us too soon due to overdose, I do believe, and they brought other singers in to cover him. But, Guar could go on, forever the way they've got it set up. But,
good stuff.
So anyway, I'm rooting for you guys. And also on Rumble too, man, they've got all kinds of new profit sharing things. They've got Rumble Crypto and Rumble Wallet. And, people can donate directly into your Rumble wallet with crypto and stuff now. And I guess you're getting all of the donations directly to your account now. I'm rooting for Rumble. I'm long on Rumble. I'd like to see them be the #1 streaming platform in the world.
I got you.
You are hired as our consultant, Bubba Rumble.
That's right.
Okay,
I'll be reaching out to you.
I accept.
All right, buddy.
Hey now.
He knows his Rumble stuff. And we do. We probably do need to get with him. And
Yeah.
Get him to kind of guide us on some of that stuff.
Definitely.
I got his number. I may just text him. Just get it over with.
Yeah, we can do like a multi-FaceTime kind of thing.
Yeah. Because it's not like I can talk to him on any social media platforms because he won't do social media. So all I can do is text him. All right, 205-545-9950. You're listening to The Line, Talk 99.5. You know what I need? I need a little stand where I can put my phone like right here.
Yeah, you can get them for next to nothing on the Amazon.
Do you have a phone stand that's
I've got a small one. Yeah.
Maybe I can
use it may go down to that small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow.
Something that I can just put under the camera here, and then that way I'm kind of looking at, I don't have to look in two different directions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's smart, Andrew.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then I could start doing that. I really need a separate device to be able to do this because I need my phone, but it's whatever. Still looking at text messages. Kevin mentioned a minute ago, he said, I've worked for the same company, trucking company since 99. He said, this is, wait. I read that. He said, Brett could always just shut down for a bit and start working with the lizards at the lot. He always hits up. Does Brett hit up lot lizards? It was Brett. This is the one that I was talking about. Brandon was the one that said, I'm not normally one to disagree with you, but I don't know this guy any more than you do. Imagine you're 65, 70 years old and you're looking at retirement and all you've done is trucking. Do you really think it's as simple as just finding a job? He responded to that and said, I'll be honest, I didn't realize it was Brett that called in about the trucking industry problem when I sent the message. You could hand him $300 and he'd complain you didn't give him $400, so I take it back. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And Bubba Rumble says, what in the actual F is this Tommy Tupperville hit piece ad on Talk 99.5?
So lame.
What does it say? I haven't heard it.
They're comparing Tommy Tupperville to Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, I heard he made a whole lot on the so much stock market like Nancy Pelosi.
Who's running that ad? Whose ad is it?
I don't know.
That's a good way to get people to vote. I'm sure it's like a PAC or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Tommy Tupperville, just like Nancy Pelosi. You're right. Okay. You tell yourself that, buddy guy. It's crazy, man. Political season's crazy. And we ain't even deep off in it yet, man. It ain't even the end of March. By the time summer rolls around, it's going to get wild. Man, I cannot stress the importance of this midterm. And I think most people in this audience understand, but it is so vital at this point. I've always thought midterms were important, but I don't think there's ever been important. It is that dire. And as you know, it's why we need the SAVE Act. Hour number 4 is coming up.